An understanding of culture is critical to grasping its importance to society. First of all, as we have learned in this course, culture is the knowledge, symbols, language, values, customs, norms, and material objects passed from person to person and generation to the next in a human group or society. Culture is essential for our individual survival. In Child's article, Culture Remains Elusive, Child identified causal effects of cultural values on individual behavior. We must learn about culture through interaction, observation, and imitation as participants in groups. Culture is special. Ann Phillips, in What Makes Culture Special, talked about the researcher Alan Patton, who said that culture is not a set of shared practices and beliefs, but the existence of an unbroken chain of intergenerational transmission. In other words, culture is a diverse set of rules and instructions for living, which is constantly updated through how we interact with each other and that binds us together. Not only does culture embody meaningful representations that express ideas and enable people to think and communicate with one another, but it also includes collective ideas about what is right or wrong, good or bad, and desirable or undesirable. It is established rules or behavior or standards of conduct. For example, in South Africa, one would sit next to someone who was traveling alone. In the United States, one would never sit next to the person if there are seats available. Reportedly, it makes one look weird, and one is left feeling confused and or anxious. This disorientation that is felt is an example of culture shock. Cultural universals are customs and practices that occur across all societies, like appearance, activities, social institutions, and customary practices. Muhammad Hammond in Cultural Universal stated that every organization is treated as the entity that is supposed to have the norms and rules that will define and bind the people within the company together. However, sometimes the degree of access separates the group or society, which becomes problematic in our culture. For example, high culture includes activities, products, and services usually patronized by elite audiences, whereas popular culture appeals primarily to the middle and working classes. In Cultural Knowledge and Social Inequality, Annette LaRue found that middle-class young adults had more knowledge than their working-class or poor counterparts of the rules of the game regarding how institutions work. According to Rivera and Tosic, higher-class candidates are seen as better fits with their elite culture and clientele of large law firms. Higher class women do not, because they face a competing negative stereotype that portrays them as less committed to full-time intensive careers. In other words, the rules of the game cases like these force negative feelings and are therefore rules that need to evolve. Thus, a society is a group of individuals involved in persistent social interaction, or a large social group sharing the same geographical or social territory, typically subject to the same political authority and dominant cultural expectations. According to Hammond, the societies in which we reside are working and are running in a systematic manner. In essence, culture, inclusive of its symbols, language, norms, and written and unwritten rules of engagement, is important to society. Both are interdependent. Neither could exist without the other. Culture is essential for our communication with other people in any and all groups, and is fundamental for the survival of societies. For example, because of our diverse cultures, Western countries tend to emphasize individual freedom, individual achievement, and the pursuit of individual positive feelings, whereas Asian countries tend to emphasize human relationships, including family, colleagues, and neighbors. Yi, Ing, and Lian in Culture and Happiness said culture is an important factor affecting happiness. I believe that if that is so, then we are creators of our culture and how it evolves. So it is our responsibility to share meanings and experiences, communicate ideas, distinguish among people, establish and maintain boundaries, and promote solidarity, which is what makes us who we are. We are society, and I am Paige Brockington.